So yesterday we discussed about the research and the importance of the research and in the context of different international medical programs and residency programs. And today we will discuss about the research and the research methodology that what is research and what is the research methodology. So basically, uh, this is today we will be focusing on the two foundational terms which you will encounter repeatedly in your research internship and in your career, which is research method and research methodology. And this term may sound familiar, but these serve a different terms, a different purpose, and understanding them is very essential whether you are reading a paper, conducting your own study or own research, or doing any type of work. So basically, what is research method or what are the research methods? So, research methods are the practical tools that are used to conduct the research, and you can think of them as an instruments. These include experiments, the surveys, the case studies, or statistical tools. And if you are trying to find out that how many people in your hospital suffer from some particular disease, let's say blood pressure, then you might or you have to conduct a survey, and that process is your method. So basically, research methods are the various procedures and scheme that are used in research, and all the methods that are used by the researcher during the research are simply termed as research methods. These are very uh, these are very important and essentially planned and very these are planned things and of scientific value and natural value. So these include theoretical procedures, experimental study, numerical schemes, statistical approaches, audits, and all these things. So with the research method help us to collect data sample data and find the solution to a problem. So, what is research methodology? If we, for example, from the research method, we have discussed the research method in detail. Let me give you a simple example that suppose you want to test that how effective paracetamol is in reducing the fever. You might include taking a group of patient and then giving them the paracetamol and then measuring their temperature before and after and comparing the results. So this is your research method and let's discuss that what is research methodology and to now we will move towards the research methodology, which is a systematic way to solve a problem. And in research methodology is basically a plan behind your method, and it is the blueprint of your research study. It answers the questions like why are you using this method and how will you carry out the study or step by step. So how you will conduct the study, this is basically the research method that you want to conduct. So it is a science of studying how research is to be carried out and essentially the procedure by which researchers go through and their work of describing, explaining, and predicting the phenomena. That all these things is called as research methodology, and this is also defined as the study of methods by which knowledge is gained, and its aim is to give the work plan of research. So these are the research methods, and if we look at the some example of for example, imagine that you want to find out that why students are stressed, and your methodology will be of choosing the students that are from for more time in the universities or colleges. Let's say you can choose the final year students and give them questionnaires, analyze their answer, and then explain why you choose that age group or that particular student. So this is something research methodology is that you have to explain that thing, and it is the necessary for researcher to design a methodology for a problem chosen. And one should note that even if the method considered in two problem are the same, the methodology may different. So if the method is same, it is not compulsory that the methodology will be also the same. Let me explain this to you. uh, you and let's say you and your friend want to work on a questionnaires, and you study the sleep habits in students, and let's say your student studies the phone addiction. Then the method is the same, the method will be the same, that you people will use the questionnaires, but the methodology is different and the methodology will be different. So This is something you have to keep in mind, and if we study the importance of research methodology in research study, it is important for the researchers to know not only the research method necessary for the research, but also the methodology. And a researcher needs to answer or to know the following thing, or must be able to study or must be able to study the following things, that which is the suitable method for the chosen problem, and what is the order of accuracy of the result of a method. So you have to look at all these things and answer what is the efficiency of the method. You have to answer this question, and then you will be able to properly work on the research methodology and your research topic. So more precisely, the research method helps us to get a solution to a problem, and on the other hand, the research methodology is concerned with the explanation of the following terms, that why particular research study is undertaken, and then how did one formulate a research problem, and that how this particular research study undertaken. You have to explain these things, and then how one will formulate research problem, and then what type of data were collected, or what type of data will be collected, and then what particular method has been used. You have to answer all these things, and why was a particular technique of analysis of data used. So you have to answer all these questions and try to figure out these questions, and then you will be able to work properly and choose the better methodology. And if we study that the study of research methods gives training to apply them to a problem. So basically, the study of research method will give you a methodology and a training to apply to that problem, and the study of methodology provide us the necessary training in choosing methods, materials, scientific tools, and training in techniques relevant for the problem chosen. So methodology is a set of methods which is used systematically to solve a research problem, and its aim is to give the work plan of a research. And then if you differentiate between the research methods and the research methodology, and the basis of comparison is that what does research method mean? The research method means that research method implies the method employed by a researcher to conduct a research, and the research methodology signifies the way to efficiently solve the problem. And what is research method? So behavior and instrument used in selection and construction of a research technique is basically the research method, and the research methodology is the science of understanding how research is performed systematically. So this is the research methodology, and if we study that the research method encompasses in basis of carrying out experiment, tests, surveys, questionnaires, and so on. And the research methodology is the study of different techniques which can be utilized in the performing of experiment, test, survey, etc. And it research method comprised of different investigation techniques, and research methodology is the entire strategy towards the achievement of a single objective. When you want to achieve that single particular objective, for that purpose, you can use your the strategy towards the achievement of the objective will be called as research methodology. And the research method objective is to discover solution to a research problem, and the research methodology objective is to apply correct procedures so as to determine the solution. So you have to keep all these things in mind while working on research topics, and in the upcoming days you will be working on different research topics. You will be exploring different topics. So you have to look at these things and remember these things. So now we will be discussing the main types of research. Usually this there are you can discuss in detail different types of research, but we will be studying just the few. One is the fundamental or basic research, and the second is applied research. So we will be studying the basic and applied research. And if you look at the fundamental or basic research, so basic research is an investigation on basic principle and reasons for occurrence of a particular event or process or phenomena. It is also called the theoretical research, and it is not concerned with solving any practical problem of immediate interest. So, and then it is original or basic in character. It provides a systematic and deep insight into problem, and then facilitate you to extraction to in the extraction of the scientific and logical explanation and conclusion on it. Then the research basic in the basic research, you provide, see, you work on something and find out the logical explanation and conclusion onto it. And sometimes it may not lead to the immediate use of application. Sometimes it may help in later stages and in later part of your research or the scientific community. So Basics is, for example, if I may give you a simple example of basic research that understands how things work, and it helps you build new frontiers of knowledge and leads to new theories and ideas. Definitely, it helps you to build new theories and ideas. And basic research is done to increase the knowledge, and that's why it may not be useful right away, like understanding genes or brain function. But it may help the future treatments, it may help the future generations. For example, discovering the DNA structure did not treat the disease immediately, but became the basis of for the modern genetics. So same is the basic research that helps you. And then applied research. So applied research is a practical one, it solves the problem. And then for example, testing which drug lowers BP faster, that will can help the doctor to choose the treatments wisely. And research that outcome of which is immediate application is called as applied research. And in this research, certain problems employing well-known and accepted theories and principles are solved, and it is helpful for the basic research. It is of practical use to current activity, such as police investigation. For example, you want to test the DNA, that DNA fingerprinting, or all these techniques which you people have studied. So these things will help directly, and it is concerned with actual life research, such as increasing the street crimes rate in specific locality, diverse rate in young generation, or some other type of research which might be related to the medical field. So you have to look at these things. And if the difference between we study the difference between the basic and the applied research, that what is the basic and applied research. And so the basic research is it seeks generalization, and in the applied research the studies individual or specific cases without the objective to generalization. So the basic research aim to basic processes, and the applied research aims at any variable which make the desired difference. So the attempts to explain why things happen is discussed in basic research, and the try to show or to say how things can be changed is done through the applied research. And it tries to get all the facts. We try to get all the facts in the basic research and report in technical language of the topic. And in the applied research, we tries to correct the fact which are problematic and reports in common language. So these are the difference between applied and basic research. Then basic research and applied research are generally of two kinds, qualitative and quantitative. So first of all, the basic and applied research can be described as a quantitative study or qualitative study. So first we will discuss the quantitative research, which is based on the measurement or of quality, quantity or amount, and this process is expressed or described in one or more quantities. The result is the of this research is essentially a number or a set of numbers. So the quantitative research is that quantitative mean quantity, numbers, and it's used to measure how much, how many, how often. For that purpose, you can use scale, score, or measurements. For example, measuring height, weight, BP, and then doing conducting surveys where student you can rate the depression level from 1 to 10. So these are the quantitative studies, and in these things the basic the numbers, like just like in epidemiology or cross-sectional or prevalence study, these numbers help you to define the results and helps you to explain the results. And in the what are the characteristics of the quantitative research? So quantitative research will be in numerical, non-descriptive, and it applies statistics or mathematics and uses numbers. And it is an interactive process whereby evidence is evaluated and the results are often presented in tables and graphs. And it is conclusive, and it investigates the what, where, and when of decision making. So you then express your results in the form of tables and graphs and different numerical values, and then explain these things. So these are the characteristics of quantitative research, which is usually you might be aware of the cross-sectional studies or prevalence study or epidemiological studies. So all of these are the types of quantitative research. And now what is qualitative research and its characteristics? So qualitative research is concerned with qualitative phenomena involving quality. So it is non-numerical, it is descriptive, and it applies reasoning and uses words instead of digits, and its aim is to get the meaning, feeling, and describe the situation. And the qualitative data cannot be graphed, and it is explanatory, and it investigates the why and how of a decision making. So if you look at the qualitative research, qualitative means words and meaning, and it explores the emotions, the experience, and opinions, often done while using interviews or open-end questions. You might be aware of the open-end question in which you give a paragraph to write, and for example, if you ask your patients that how they feel about the chemotherapy, a patient has been through the chemotherapy, and after the chemotherapy, you question them that how they feel about the chemotherapy, and yeah, are interviewing students that why they skip breakfast. So this is the type of qualitative research, and the qualities of research could be that it is non-numerical, descriptive, and it apply reasoning and all these things we have studied. So there are also other type of research, and which are terms as action research. And in action research, it is used to improve something. It is effect finding research to improve the quality of action in the social or the social world, or the at any place, at any criteria you want to improve something, you want to use fact finding. And in, for example, if you want to reduce hospital wait times, this will be action research. And then explore explanatory research, the second type is explanatory research. It is for searching explanations for events and phenomena. For example, why are the things like what they are? So in the explanatory research, you try to explain reasons behind something or reasons behind something happening. And then the exploratory research, which is used to learn more when little is known, and it is for getting more information on the topic, and you explore that topic and study different perspective of that particular research or topic. So it is type of exploratory research. And then the comparative research, which is used to compare two things, and it is for obtaining similarities and differences between the events, methods, techniques, research, or anything you want to study the similarities and differences. You can use that particular things on the comparative research. For example, if you are trying to work that how to reduce noise in the ward, that would be action research. But if you are working on the comparative research, that would be which mask would be better, cloth or surgical. You want to study that thing, and this is comparison that you want to study that either cloth mask is better or the surgical mask is better. So this type of comparative research, you compare two techniques, that which type of technique is better for that particular disease. So this is comparative research. Okay, the other type of research is the critical research, and it is a critical assessment of existing work to explore the merits and demerits of that works. And in critical research, you review and critique the existing knowledge. And the next type is creative research, which involves the development of new theories and invention, and it cannot always be planned. So basically, creative research come up with new idea and like new ways to do surgery or design a medical tool. So for the critical research, for example, you want to review the paracetamol side effects or some other medication side effects, and you want to work on that study. You want to review to write a review on the paracetamol side effects. That would be critical research. But if you want to develop a low cost blood pressure monitoring machine or stethoscope for rural areas or some other thing, that would be type of creative research. So this was today's detail, that we study the research method and research methodologies. In research method, we studied that the research methods are your tools like the surgeon's scalpel and their concrete techniques to collect and analyze data. And in medicines, we can do different type of research methods: clinical survey, lab experiments, statistical analysis of patient outcome, or some other thing. But these methods that should be used must be scientific, repeatable, and objective. For example, if you are using a standard questionnaire uh, to find out something related to the particular disease, to find out the prevalence of malaria or some other disease, you have to use the standardized questionnaires and related things. And then We discussed the research methodology, and if research is if methods are your tools, and then methodology is your blueprint, and it is the why and how behind the choice of yours, and then we studied that why methodology matters, and why method can be used for different with different methodologies and all these things. Then we studied the basic and applied research, and we studied that in basic research we try to explore that why things happen, and in the applied research we try to solve the immediate problem. And then we discuss the qualitative and quantitative research. Quantitative research, which use numeric values, stats, graphs, or that things are very ideal for the drug trials. If you want to conduct study on the drug trial, you can use the quantitative research. And then the qualitative research, which is in which we use different interviews, themes that are perfect for patient of experience studies. And in the medical application, you can use both qualitative and quantitative methods, and then work on all of these things. Then we discuss the different type of action research, the explanatory, critical, and then the other research types. We have discussed that in detail. The main thing is that research is the engine of medical progress, and if you master this principle, you will not. If you do not master this principle, and if you do not master this principle, you will not be able to publish or work on any research. But if you do master this principle, you have a skills in this principle, then you will not only publish paper, but you will advance in healthcare, and then you can easily find out more suitable spots for you in your uh, future career. So this was all about today. Now we will move towards the question answer session, and if you have any question